There he is. He does exist.
Disappeared. This weird Uplifter video. I mean, what do I think? I mean, we say it every day. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys well, why don't you tell us about Uplifter video?
Uplifter
I'm not going
video.
to tell your story.
We are, this has been, well, let me backtrack because I think it's important. This is new for us. I mean, Mark and I have been doing this for a very long time.
Mark Blazak.
Mark Blazak.
Your partner.
Who's running the switcher right now.
He's so proud of you right now.
He's like beaming. He's like, I'm so glad I don't have to do this. Yeah, we chose the life behind the camera, and we've been that way for 20 plus years each. And, you know, we've been through different positions, different, you know, jobs throughout our lives. And we had worked together at the Sabres for about 10 years together. And for a while we've been talking about, like, you know, we really just want to do something that means something that is more than just a highlight reel. Not that we didn't like doing that, but we thought that there should be something else out there that we wanted to do. And so we had talked about it for a while, and eventually we had come up with this idea of creating great videos for people who do good. And that's where Uplifter video came from. And we've been doing that not very long. We started essentially at the same time that you said you guys were interested in doing a live stream.
Well, I remember calling you and texting you and saying, let's chat because we want to let you know what the 11 Day is doing. And then we got on the phone and you're like, that's really cool. Like, we want to help. And then all of a sudden we're on the call with Mike and me, and we said, can you do this for us?
Right, yeah.
So it's pretty cool that here you guys are.
We've been here with, you know, doing work with you guys for some time now.
Right.
You know, I remember the very first day you brought it up to us. It was pretty interesting. I don't even know if I mean, it was thought out. Obviously, you had your guys planned out, the 40, but we didn't know how to promote it. And so we just said, well, what's their story? And then we had talked that out briefly. And the first video we did was that promotional thing with the pictures hanging up and the lights dangling from the background there.
Yep,
that was at PSE that we had worked with 17. You guys on. So, yeah, I mean, that was just the start of it. And here we are today going through all that stuff.
You were helping us promote the original 40. We had just come up with a brand and a logo, but we didn't really know how to promote it. Mm-hmm. And you guys were like, well, we need to feature the people, the guys that are playing, and pick, I don't know, 6 or 10 of them and send them to us. And then you would send us the script for it.
Right.
And just reading it made me cry. Mm-hmm. You know, players, you know, talking about their loved one and who they're playing for, and then looking at a picture, you know, on a string of lights in the middle of an old building downtown. Yeah. You know, I got teary before we even finished the product.
The hardest part in all of that is getting people to open up. But as soon as you give them that connection, you give them that picture or something to relate to, they're going to immediately start sharing with you. And so we thought that was a great way to share these emotional stories that aren't always easy to share, like things that you wouldn't normally want to talk about, or things that you, especially when there's a camera rolling, you clam up, you shut down. So we were just trying to figure out what would be a good way to get those stories out of the guys. And as soon as they walked in, I mean, they had known because they had sent us the pictures ahead of time, but to see theirs amongst all of these other pictures was really powerful.
In our original 40, some of them are watching now. They've never met you. They've seen the original 40 documentary.
Right. They've seen themselves on video. And
that you guys, you know, created for us that still plays and people are in awe.
And again, that was through PSE. We, you know, Mark and I had been working at that capacity at director level at that point. And we just, you know, we had wanted to do more. The timing was bad. I think there was just a lot of other things going on at the same time. But we got as much of the crew over there as we could at different points of time. We set up that confessional cam, which was pretty cool. So we got a lot of little stories that we wouldn't normally have gotten if we weren't there the whole time. And just tried to document as much as we could. I would have hoped to do the full 11 days and then come up with a much bigger story. But I think it did work out. I think for the most part the people were...
Yeah, it was very impactful. Yeah. It was very impactful. That was the first year, and you guys have been with us ever since. You're going to get a ton of content out of this particular event because of what we're doing, but people tell us all the time that they wonder how they know it's just us. Like, they know it's just Aim and I and Sarah and Nate kind of like as a little group.
But do they? I feel like some people don't even realize that this huge event is only run by you two and 2 or 3 other people, essentially, 2 people.
But
I
crazy.
think through this live stream, we've been able to share that,
Yeah.
you know, and hope that people understand that, you know, this isn't a huge organization.
Yeah.
We've got, you know, a board of directors that are all volunteers, and we just do it because we love it. And
Well, it shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been with us. You're probably sick of us by now, but
Do I look tired?
No, better than us.
we forgot to tell you all about the sleepless nights and the long days when we decided to have you join us.
Late dinners.
I didn't realize what I had signed up for at the time, but it's pretty exhausting, to be honest with you. Like, I wasn't prepared for that part of it, more the mental and like just constantly churning and coming up with more content, filling content. But it's so rewarding. Like, all of this has been worth it and a half. Like, it's just, I've been trying not to break down, like hearing all of these stories and like, even beforehand, like we had done all these features, and you know, it wasn't just these 11 days. It was the month leading up to.
You guys started in June with us,
Yeah.
right? It was June,
Right.
And you visited Nate and Sarah for Camp Good Days,
Yep.
and then we met with Summer's family. I mean,
For
people don't
Make-A-Wish.
realize that you've
Yeah.
been with us throughout the last couple
Yeah.
months,
Yeah.
producing all this content to share on this live stream. And
10
then,
wasn't enough.
and then to produce
Apparently.
and then to produce a live stream, which is something you've never done before, like an
Not
actual
to this
production.
extent. No, yeah.
Is pretty cool. So, and you're coaching us, people who've never ever. I mean, you're used to. I know. Mark's
you work
used
with
to
professionals.
With you know, Marty Braun.
Yeah, you know, we've worked with the Sabres and the Bills, and you know, that gives you some kind of credibility to say like, this is what you should do or this is how you should do those things. But you guys, you know, the tips and tricks, which is just have that conversation. I think Al Davis said it best, is just to listen. You know, just have that when you're having that conversation, just listen to people. And so I think here it's the hardest part because we're interviewing so many people in and out every single day. But to get that content out, like, that's insane, the amount of content that you guys are putting out right now.
We're flooding social media because what we do at night, not everybody can watch at that time. So we're sharing, you know, captain interviews and player logs and the amazing videos that you guys have produced over the last couple of months are being shared too, and we got to get that information out.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a lot, and we've got 4 more days. No,
Is it 4 more?
No, it'll be 3 after tonight.
Friday,
Thursday night?
Saturday,
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know that people really understand that 3.5 hours a night, what goes into that.
Well, we get here, I mean, usually around 10 o'clock, depending on the day. If there's a game earlier, we have to be here earlier. But we shoot the game, we shoot the highlights, we package the highlights up in an edit. We shoot all the interviews with you guys, and then we have to edit those things and get it churned out. And then we have CJ and Luke, who have been helping us out on a production assistant level to shoot and edit, while Mark and I are also trying to piece the show together. And I think Mark's done a really good job of giving us the run of show. And then what like 5 minutes before showtime, we sit down and we figure, we do our rehearsal and we talk about what's coming up. And
so we don't just walk on the set.
Yeah,
and just
so you're somewhat prepared.
We're somewhat prepared, but not really prepared. Like the professionals on the Today Show are really, really prepared.
You had asked for a teleprompter, and I said absolutely not. I said that A, you need to know how to read those things properly, and B, I'm not running that thing for you because it's very specific, and it'll be boring. Just
and someone like
talk.
me has no idea what goes into that. Like I'm just trying to prepare for not being, I'm not a professional. I don't want to disappoint you. So I thought a teleprompter would help us.
No, you've been doing great without the teleprompter. So,
but
do you like having me in your ear?
It's very helpful.
Yeah.
So when we crash at night, we go to bed, and I don't know about you, but
you still hear me?
I hear Jason going,
"Oh,
we got a YouTube content. Okay, now we're gonna go to this. We're gonna go to the rink."
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. You're on.
Mike,
3, 2, 1. But yeah.
3, 2.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you say the score backwards in that.
And I want to say thank you. I have not met your wife, Jamie.
I know.
I have not met your kids.
I know,
but
it's
thank
terrible.
you, Jamie. Like I keep saying to Jason, your wife probably can't stand us right now because we've stolen you for a long time, even prior to the event.
She's been a single mom for the past couple weeks. Yeah.
Sorry.
The kids have taken it in stride. They've been doing good. Sophia just made you that bracelet.
Yeah.
She did. I was so proud of her when she knew
really cute card.
how much work I was putting into this, and she's like, "Well, I want to do there. I want to help." So I was like, "Think of something that you can raise money for." And like lemonade stand was the first thing, but then I was like, "Well, people don't want to with COVID." So she had basically said, "I'm going to make bracelets," and then it was a more immediate family at first, and then people started like, "Oh, I want one." $5 a bracelet. She earned like $130 in a matter of a couple days. And I was like, if she can
Nice
do
job.
it, anyone can do it, right? I mean, that's just amazing.
Like she earned herself a fan in the
Sophia
stands.
is 9 years old. She just turned 9 last week. Not even last week.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
belated birthday.
And that's why she
They were here the other
has
day.
her fan in the stand
there
right
she
there.
is, right in the middle.
Yeah. So she earned she earned that. She and then she donated it all to you guys.
She's got the
so.
original
Awesome.
40 sweatshirt on that we gave you from one of
From one of the shoots from early
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I love her.
adorable. Well, thank you, Jamie and Sophia, and your son's name is
Colton.
Colton.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us Dad for a while.
And Mark behind the scenes.
Yes. If we can get Mark up here,
We'll get him up here at
that'll
some
be
point.
a
How do
coup.
we do that? He's in charge of the switcher.
Yeah, I think we'll just turn it on him, the camera on him, and figure it out from there.
So we've been bugging Jason for a few days.
Clearly,
Get him
your
out
content
here.
is light tonight because you're talking to me. Yeah.
Well,
Well, you are as much
You
as
need to get a producer that can help you run that.
we're working on it.
So let's talk about the other night when we ran into technical difficulties.
I don't want to.
But it wasn't your fault. Like,
mean,
it was the humidity.
yeah.
It was like the bugs actually get in.
We don't know what it was. I'm guessing it's the humidity. The whole board just lit up like a Christmas tree, and everything was going. And Mark's just like deer in headlights. Didn't know, like, should I pull the plug on this thing? Should I press a button and see if it works? So we had to shut the whole thing down. And it wasn't what we wanted to do. And obviously we want to keep these streams going as long as we can to get that awareness out there. But it was only 5 minutes at the most
Yeah.
it was off. So
Yeah.
I think we pulled it together.
We all kind of looked at each other and went, "Now what?"
Now what? Yeah.
I was like, well, we just fired our production crew and we brought a whole new one in.
Yeah. So the features themselves that we had worked on, as far as like working with Uplifter Video, I was like, this is exactly what we wanted to be doing. These types of stories to tell. Obviously, everyone has a story to tell, but these stories are very powerful. And, Mark and I trying to use our skills in a way that can help you guys and help people understand that there's a bigger picture there than just playing hockey, and that this is much more than that. So
the Rodney video.
the Rodney video, that
Jen.
I don't have favorites, but that would probably be one of my top.
I was actually going to ask
ones.
you that. So,
Yeah.
they're
They're all
favorite or
near and
not,
dear to my heart.
of course,
like
but
all
there's
of
got to
them.
be a couple that stick out a little bit.
Rodney one did stick out to me a little bit. Just the connection that the guys all had when they went to on that trip, and
The Whistlers.
just overall the way that production came together. Whistlers was beautiful.
The night we were out on the boat. Like, people don't really
Yeah.
realize that you were on the boat with
Yeah.
Mark. I was on the boat.
Yep. Yeah, it was a
Um,
great time, and just meeting everyone like that.
Yeah.
Beyond just trying to tell their story, is just meeting all these great people. So, yeah, it's been a really, really interesting and really rewarding, exhausting
And then the Carl boys.
couple months.
boys.
Carl's, yeah.
Charles was
Nick.
awesome.
The Carl brothers.
Yeah.
They're so
then
much
Carl
younger
brothers.
than me.
Carl
They're so
bros.
much younger than me, so I call them boys.
And of course, we have like these ideas out of the blue, and they're like, "Oh no, now what are they
Now
saying?"
what? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this golf outing, and it's all
No,
day."
Let's talk
and
about the
let-
golf outing. So you guys
Yeah.
were with us for an entire day.
It was a beautiful day. Thankfully, most of these days, I mean, that's the hardest part with how do you shoot inside, during these times, and you can't. So we had to like plan all these things outside. Golf tournament was a beautiful day, and we were just out there planning the holes ahead of time. We had talked to you guys about, which holes would have an event to them. So you had the longest drive, you had the closest to the pin, and we featured those. So Mark threw the drone up in the air, and then I was down on the ground with the guys shooting, and
Yeah.
just let them do their thing and mic up people as we go, and
That video
see what
came
kind
out.
of feature we can put together.
That came out awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. And people love watching that. Just to kind of recap the day and remember it.
yeah.
But you had 5 foursomes that you had to follow around. That's not easy.
That was tough because there were only 2 of us
Yeah.
with that 2.5 camera setup. So, but we had the golf cart and we were driving around, catching up to people along the way. There's enough holes that you could get enough of a story out of it.
And luckily, it was a nice day because otherwise,
Yeah.
it just makes things.
Oh, yeah, it would have been a much more difficult time.
So when we shoot a whole day, or like say, it's a morning of like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
You go home with
Mhm.
all of that content. How long does it take you to turn that into a video?
It should take anywhere between 5 to 8 days, but because of our timeline, I looked at our schedule and I knew what we had in front of us, and I told Mark, I said, I'm going to have to be cutting these things in 3-day increments in order for us to get done on time. So we had literally sped up the whole process, and again, thanks to my wife Jamie who put up with it. I stayed up late nights and Mark stayed up late nights, and we just filled as much of that content as we possibly could and cut as much as we could before we started the live show. So we were exhausted before we started, but it was worth it. It really was. I mean, I think those features speak for themselves. I think people can find a way to get connected to them, even not having met them. And they may even see them down the line and be like, hey, I saw you in that video. So we like to be able to share those stories with people.
And even just the captains that we're meeting every day. And, you guys are doing the highlights. You're doing the on-bench interviews.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about how many people you've met, it's really incredible.
Yeah, it's overwhelming at times to think about. I said earlier, I was like trying not to break down because of the amount of stories that you hear and how many people are impacted by cancer. So,
out of the blue, we were talking to the girl in the Take a Break segment.
Yeah.
And her mom just died.
Right.
Like a couple months ago. And we're like, we had no idea. And she, we start getting emotional.
Yeah.
We didn't, and there's thousands of those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we don't know everybody personally, but that was just a perfect example of what you said. You don't know what emotions it's going to evoke. You need to start talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden you're tearing up, and, it's just, it's been, but you guys have an amazing way of capturing it in a very classy way.
Well, thank you. After this, we're going to go to show up and reset. Mark's telling me.
All right, we got to go to our script here. He's
All
telling
right,
us
reset.
what to do.
And we're going to have Patty and Maddie up, coming up.
Oh,
right?
so reset first. And
Reset
then Patty.
first. Well, if
Okay.
they're on their way, I
All
mean,
right.
we should be getting close to that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what we listened to when he was over there.
Now he's
Well, this
changing
is-
it up on us
yeah.
because I thought it was Maddie and Patty, and then
Maddie and Patty.
and then Maddie and Patty, Maddie and Pat.
Yeah.
I
We'll be
thought-
good.
I thought they were after the reset.
Madeline and Patrick.
This is one of those awkward pauses where I should be yelling at you to go to the reset right now.
All right, so our Crawley Webb Stuck Bucket with
No,
Jason
no.
is...
No, we're going to talk about the jerseys. Oh, no, wait. Now we're going to go to the
Yeah.
players' log. Oh, no, wait. Now we're going to go to the Lamar stats.
Yeah. It's been a good time, guys.
Well, thank you.
4 more days?
Yeah.
3.5.
So you're saying it's been really rewarding, but you still have 4 more days.
Well, that is interesting. I don't want to keep this going, but that was one thing that we had talked about was like usually after a live show, especially of this magnitude where you got 4 hours of content, you're like, oh, that was so good. It's over. So you can move on, but then you're like, no, wait, we got to do the same thing again, and again. Yeah.
Another rehearsal.
Yeah.
Another rehearsal.
Yeah. But it's been, honestly, I think we've been, I think you guys have been doing great filling that time, and the games speak for themselves when the people are out there. I mean, obviously they want to be here, so keep it going.
And you guys are doing a great job featuring our sponsors. I mean, that's part of it, too.
Well, we happen to be one.
Yeah, here we are, the beautiful logo, Uplifter video. But that, incorporating all of that, a lot of these teams are sponsored, too. So, like, you guys are putting in the logos and making sure that they get their benefits.
Trying to, yeah.
That's also a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're doing a great job.
Okay.
So the producer, you're saying we're going to the players log?
Yeah. And by players log, I mean reopen. We're gonna
Reopen.
Mark's going to play the intro again, and we're going to kickstart the open.
All right,
All right,
let's
we're
go,
ready
Mark.
for you, Mark.